can't see my toes. Woo. The water is so refreshing. It's a little cool, but it's definitely not cold. Living on the island, we get a nice breeze. So while the rest of Florida is 98 or 99, we're 88 or 89. And then we have this. Dave, if you can hear me, can you put a thing out on Discord to have the people come over here? Put a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, guys, there was a countdown in there somewhere, and I think it got lost in the ocean.
I don't know. I saw it for a moment.
We've got people here in our live chat. I'm so excited. And Jay, it's so good to see you. This is my friend, Paige Friend. What a beautiful name is that? She is the host of, you can barely hear me. Mostly just.
I can hear you fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm having some sound thing. Hey, Emily. So we've got Paige here from The Beach Speaks. So I live on an island at the beach. Paige lives at the beach and talks about all things beachy. And so people have been asking what it's like. I talk about it, but I don't show enough, apparently. So I've started recording beachy things, and I thought, who better to share this with than my friend, Paige Friend. So you want to introduce your show?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. My name is Paige Friend, and yes, Friend is my last name. I am married to Ernest Friend. So anyway, we live here at Jacksonville Beach, Florida. I have a podcast called The Beach Speaks, and it's a podcast about sharing stories about the beach and our connection to it. I moved here after declaring that I wanted to meet my soulmate, quit my 9-to-5, and move to the beach. And that's what I did. And I was so excited to make it finally to the beach, living here, that I thought, how can I share this amazing place with everyone? And I thought, well, I love the beach. I love podcasting. Let's just put the two together. And here I am in a tiny little cubicle room with no beach background. So sorry about that, folks.
Oh, that's interesting. I never really thought about that. But Paige has got the most beautiful pictures, and she shared them with me so that I can share them with you. So, hey, Spade, good to see you guys. I'm so excited that you're all here. I'm going to share some of her pictures if they've come up here, because I am fighting with some of this stuff. Here is one of them. Well, this is a background, so I'm going to have to move us out of the way a little bit so that you can see one of the pictures. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then I've got more to share in a few minutes, but
yeah, most of mine are of the sunrise, because obviously being here on the Atlantic coast, that's what we have. And I'm out there most mornings as often as I can to catch it, get a little video or photograph or something I can take home with me.
I am not up at the sunrise. So Dave will take a picture of the sunrise, and then I'll get a chance to see it. But
yeah.
And then we've got this other one. Hold on, I gotta hide this because whoa.
Oh, There.
Oh, that is so silly. Hold on just a second. This is fun learning how to do these
I know,
things, isn't it?
right?
All right. Now, because of erosion, we don't have that much beach
Oh,
at all. So we're losing our beach. I don't know where
they're not
anyone's
doing any reclamation or anything like that?
they do it every other year and
Oh,
we're still
okay.
losing. So wherever you
Oh.
stand on the global warming words, personally, I think those are just like hot buttons at this point. But I'll tell you, we're losing our ocean. We're losing well, we're not losing the ocean. We're gaining ocean. We're losing land
Yeah. Yeah.
where we are. So it's a thing that happens. Yeah, isn't that incredible, Spade? It's just nuts. So, yeah, so that's what's happening. So last week, you were distracted by the waves. I forgot. Oh, yeah, no, Jay, it's good to see you. Paige, if you look over to the right side, I think you can see a button where it says live chat, and that's where everybody is. Um,
I'm not
it's
seeing it. Maybe
okay.
because I'm in full screen. Let
It
me.
can be kind of distracting. So Dave handles all that, but I also like to talk to everybody while they're there.
Oh, okay.
So last week I was sharing Paige's card that she sent me and the stickers. This is Paige, because she's so kind that when someone comes on her show, she gives them presents. And I've been guest twice in the last month, and both people sent me a present. And I thought, okay. Also, I
Oh,
just got and unboxed stickers, so I can send you stickers. I got Jen Hardy show stickers. Very excited. And then I bought, oh my gosh. So when you're monetized on YouTube, you can get a shop. Not that we couldn't get a shop anywhere. And I got a backpack. It's obnoxious. And it says the Jen Hardy show on the front, and then shower thoughts across the top and voices of justice across the bottom. And I got shower thoughts flip flops.
oh, I love that. I love that.
So I was like, oh, beach, beach. Oh, we should
I don't have any swag. I don't have any merch yet, so I. That's something that I thought about doing with flip flops.
but flip flops are hard to find. Oh, I should put your
Yeah.
thing on my store and just get you a pair.
Oh yeah.
That would be fun. We could do that. Oh my gosh. But if you guys have questions about, I don't know, about the beach or living at the beach or what it's like, we are here to answer your questions. So I can tell you that my whole life I dreamed of, well, honestly, owning my own island because that's how peoply I want to be. But living on an island. And I always thought, it's my fantasy, right? I'm never going to actually live on an island. And
Fantasy
I actually have
Island.
my beach cover up because I got all into the beachy thing tonight. And I thought, it's never going to happen. And we found a place where it was very affordable. It was the same as our neighborhood in Tennessee. So,
Go
um,
figure. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. Now prices have gone crazy since then, right? Shower flip flops for shower thoughts. I know, Jay. I am so excited about this. It's very exciting. Um, but helicopter. Okay, so yes, the helicopter life. So this is the thing. I have a fantasy that one day I'll have a helicopter. It started when I was in LA and the traffic was obnoxious, and so I would have this thing that one day I'd have a helicopter, and then I wouldn't have to deal with traffic. And so whenever I talk about something that's like a fantasy thing that'll never happen, it's the helicopter. Is what it is. And I
Well,
always thought
never say never. You are
well,
on the Space Coast, and there's
yeah,
probably going to be a helicopter. I don't know, automated that you can jump on and fly
something,
around because
right? Well, it's
NASA's
really
who knows what NASA's coming up with.
it's cool because since Dave's a veteran, we have military IDs, and so they just turned the Air Force base into a Space Force base a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
So we get to go there, and there's all kinds of fancy things that are there. So I'm close. They fly
Yeah,
over all the time, and then there's an air show, and it's really cool because the Blue Angels come in and everything, and they practice right over our house.
I
So
love that. I did an episode about the Blue Angels last year when they came. They do a show every year up here, although they are not coming in 2025. Unfortunately, I'm not really sure why. There's some,
interesting.
yeah, it's going to be in the Gulf Coast, Punta Gorda, but it is absolutely spectacular. It, I love when they're practicing, even especially when they fly right over your house, and you're just,
It's so cool.
well,
So
I have like 20 some years in aviation, so anything airplanes too, airplanes and beach, I'll
it's
talk
your
about
thing.
forever.
Well, you have a pilot's license too, don't you?
Yeah, I do have my pilot's license, although it's been a long time since I've been pilot in command of anything. So I need some serious recurrent training, I think.
But how fun. That would be so much fun. Oh
It
my God.
really is. It is. I've never flown a helicopter before, so that's kind of on my bucket list is to take a I don't know, a mini lesson in a
That would be fun.
helicopter. Yeah.
So, fun fact, Dave was in the cavalry. I can never say that.
Cavalry.
But
Ah,
now it's not horses, it's helicopters. It's air cav. And
that's
so that
right.
was his thing. And so it's funny because they still
Like the
give them
Chinooks, is that what you
they
or
had they had Chinooks and they had, oh gosh, now I'm going to space out because you asked me to put
Blackhawks,
to put it
Chinooks?
Blackhawks, that's the word.
Blackhawks,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
And Apaches, I think. They had all
Yeah.
the things.
All
Um,
the things.
so yeah, yeah.
Love
But
it. I love it.
so
we yeah, we get a fair number of the base. We have the naval base over here too, so we get some aircraft that come around
that's fun.
and fly. Um,
Blackhawk and Kiowa, he said. I don't know if you could see it.
Iowa, yeah, okay, yeah, I can kind of see the chat. I'll let you guys keep track
Handle
of it.
that. Okay. Yeah, 'cause he puts things up so that we can see it and so that everybody can see. So what do you what is your first memory of the beach?
Oh wow. Um, well, my first fun memory, I guess, is my parents. We lived in. I grew up in Pennsylvania, but before that, we lived in the Westchester area of New York City. That area. So my parents had a dream of joining a tennis club sort of thing. So for like a year, I guess, as long as we could afford it, because it's pretty expensive, they joined this shore club called the Shenorock Shore Club. It was on the Long Island Sound. And it had a beach. And I remember, yeah, I must have been maybe six, first grade, maybe, I guess. And we had summer camp there when my parents were playing tennis. We were at camp. Well, we were doing all these campy things, but there was the beach there, and I did not want to do the campy things, like whatever it was. And so they were marching us on to whatever craft thing we were doing or whatever, and you can imagine the kids, the campers, and then I just kind of started marching off the other way, and I thought, you guys can do that. I'm going to go to the beach. So I kind of made my way down this path that I knew and over the rocks. And then I just was playing there at the beach, just having fun. And then obviously it was, I don't know, that somebody noticed that I was gone, thankfully, and found me and brought me back. And then I was in trouble. I think my parents were called out of a tennis match or something, which
Oh
was
wow.
horrifying to my parents. Come get your child. I don't know. It was a thing, and I just remember I didn't care. I didn't care that I got in trouble. I was having fun. It was the beach, and it just you just have to do it when it's there, and you're a beach girl.
Right? So
Yeah.
my first memory of the beach is also when I was 6. It's interesting, but we lived an hour away from the beach. So my mom loved Huntington Beach, which is where the surfing
Mm,
competitions are. Mine
yeah.
is Corona del Mar. That is my fantasy beach. I love it so much. And when I could drive, I'd go there every weekend. But Huntington Beach has big waves. That's where people have their surfing contests. And from the time I was 6, my mom would say, "See ya," all day. And she did not want to see me. So I would be out there in those huge waves with this tiny little body. And I just figured it out on my own. And I remember we'd have family that came in from out of state because everyone would come in, to visit our house or whatever. And yeah, they would be terrified. And I'm like, just get out here.
Yeah, that reminds me too of going to, I think it was Huntington Beach when I went to visit family in LA. And yeah, about that time, I just remember staying at some distant cousin's house on the beach, and they were making these uh, pancakes, the little, small ones. And I just remember, oh, these were so good, and just eating and eating, eating these pancakes, and then running out to the beach to play in the the waves, and yeah, they were huge. And I mean, I had never seen waves that big that you had to just dive under them because I didn't know how to surf or body surf, whatever, and it was all you could do not to tumble around and get knocked out. That was the goal, I think.
Yeah,
And the water was cold, but who cares? When you're a kid, you don't care how cold the water is. But the Pacific Ocean is pretty cold.
it is cold. Well, I don't know. My kids, they swim and surf year round here. Um, yeah, and they don't care. Even at Christmas, they're still in the pool because they just don't care. So it's crazy. I'm not quite my body doesn't like it that cold anymore. But
I don't know. I'm not keen on it either.
and then we have surfing Santas here. I don't know if you have that there. And my daughter
No.
actually participated this year. So we've done it 5 or 6 years because we got here in 2019. I think this was actually, yeah. And so we go, oh, that's funny. So
Surf and Santa
everybody,
story.
they started at Cocoa Beach, but now we have it at our local beach. And then their surf school teacher started doing his own. And so Christmas Eve morning, you get up because, they're not going to wreck Christmas morning. That's just too hard. And you get up about 9 o'clock because so schools here also start late so that people can surf. It's very cool. So high school doesn't start till 9 o'clock because who needs to get up and go at 7? Except the people that are on swim team, they have to get there at 6:30.
That would be me. That would
Because
have
I
been
guess they're
me.
not at the beach. But
Yeah.
anyway, so you get up and you go down there, and the last 2 years it's been a little bit chilly, but the people wear wetsuits with Santa hats, and then some people dress up like the Grinch, and they go out there and they surf and they take pictures, and kids get pictures with them, and it's just such a cool islandy thing to do. It's just, yeah, it's really fun. And my daughter, she wanted to do it so bad, and it was 34 degrees this past year, which it never is here. It never gets that cold. And so we got her a wetsuit. She gets down there, and I said, let me just take a movie of you walking in. So I've got a movie of her walking in with her surfboard up to her ankles, and then I turn it off, and then she runs out and goes back to the car. Oh, that was 2 years ago. Okay, sorry. That was last year.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, you are where the surfing is really pretty good, very popular. It is somewhat popular up here. However, I don't think, well, I mean, there is a fairly large surf population, but we don't do the surf and Santa thing. At least not that I'm aware of. I don't really surf, so
Yeah,
that's
see,
kind of
and
lost
I
on.
I wouldn't know except that my kids do it. So I thought, and then I have another video to show. I have a surf school video to show
Oh,
so people
great.
can see because there's nothing like seeing like 70 kids surfboards all together in the ocean. So this one is not very long. It's only 1 minute. So I'm going to play it so everybody can see because I keep talking about it and it's hard to picture. So let's see how this works. No, maybe it's just going to look like a picture. It says MP4 as though it's a movie. Well, guys, you know what? That's just going to have to go on the channel. So what I'll do is I'm going to put a collage of Paige's pictures and my pictures. My pictures are nothing like Paige's, though. I'll tell you what. You are the queen of doing that. They are.
I started doing that when my parents had moved to Clearwater, and I was going over there to visit as often as I could and help them out. And there was a small beach, Indian Rocks Beach, which I named my beach. And I would go there and just I had a smartphone at that point, and I just figured out how to how the camera worked. So everything I saw was like, oh, take a picture of that. Oh, take a picture of that. And I saw one of the most amazing sunsets that I had never experienced. In fact, I probably should have sent a picture of that. But there was a couple standing there looking at it, and I had the silhouette of this couple and this orange and red, and I mean, it was just spectacular. And I thought, oh, this is just amazing. And ever since then, I was just really hooked on taking taking pictures. And I'm not a professional by any means. I mean, my photos are only as good as the phone, the camera I have, I guess. And people say, how do you, they're so good or whatever. And I say, I only just point at whatever is out there, and that's all the universe, God, whoever is in charge. That's their doing.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, see, my phone, I've got an iPhone, and they have all these things about how great the iPhone pictures are. They do not take them. I don't know. I don't have the settings right or something because they don't turn out like that. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, but yeah, yours are gorgeous.
No, I think you could figure it out. You're
I,
you're you're so good with all the other tech and everything. If you
oh,
just
yeah,
sat down,
if I just sat down, that's the thing. And then took
yeah,
the 5 minutes it would take. But I tell you what, I got the most incredible footage. We went to the Keys in April. And these are some videos I really have to put up because I took the Insta360 and we went parasailing. And we took 360 degrees from over the ocean. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And so I really just need to get them on the channel because I feel like people are going to
yeah,
want to. Um,
yeah,
see that because it's just incredible, and it's so clear. Like your ocean's clear. My daughter was so disappointed. We hyped up moving here. We got all excited. We get here, they jump in the pool first thing. They're so happy, and then the very next day we go to the beach, and she's like, the water is kind of green, and you can't see through it, and
yeah,
you know,
yeah. But it. I took a video. I think I sent one of them to you where the water was clear, and ooh, I got close to a nurse shark. Somebody just.
yeah, I stepped on a
Oh,
shark
yeah, you stepped
years
on a
ago,
shark, right?
and
But yeah, this water can get kind of brackish or murky because we do have the river and we have the port
yeah,
that's kind of into
there's
it.
a
But you go on the Panhandle there on the Emerald Coast, Port
it's
Walton Beach, Destin. Oh my! I mean, you can't get anything better than that, even in the Caribbean. I think in some places it's just
yeah.
amazing. Yeah. Well, yeah, you stepped on a shark. You told me that story on the
I
podcast. That was,
did.
yeah,
I did. Oh my gosh. So I don't know if I've told that story on here though. I don't want to bore anybody, but yeah, yeah, it's crazy. So we were gonna go down to the Panhandle. That's actually where we were gonna move. Dave had a job interview, and then he had. Don't correct me, Dave. I'm just telling the story because I know I'm gonna tell it wrong. But he either had his first interview and was having the second one, or was about to have his first one, and we're all excited because we're like, okay, I missed the beach. We need the beach. We're gonna get to the
mhm,
beach. And a tornado or a hurricane comes and wipes out the entire Air Force base where he's going to work. And he wasn't in the military. This is just military support at this point. And so I had done some research and I had found out, NASA here where we are, there's these trade winds that push the hurricanes away, which is why
yeah,
NASA chose here and Disney chose this area and whatever. And so I said, I think this is our sign. That's not where
yeah.
it's supposed to be. And so we ended up here. And yeah, so I keep trying to explain to her though, it's not that bad. You live on an island. I don't know. My kids don't have any appreciation for where they live, I don't think. But then what kid does?
Well, I know. Well, I have to remind myself sometimes. Oh my gosh, look where I am. I can walk out the door and down the street, and I'm on the beach, just whenever I want to go. It just amazes me sometimes. But when you talk about hurricanes, we're kind of in that same position where the tide, the winds, whatever, the storm will come in and then it will just make a sharp turn and head back out because we're just kind of on this curve. So we've had, some pretty bad wind and rain and surf and all that during the hurricanes. But fortunately, at least since I've been living here, we haven't had anything really, really bad happen. We haven't had to evacuate or anything like that.
Well, that's
So
good. And speaking,
yeah, yeah.
your dad's close to the hurricane. Is everybody in the audience okay? Or your family's okay? Because I know there's a lot going on down in Texas. And so a lot of the people here are court people. And that's where a lot of the judges are that we watch. So, yeah.
Yeah,
That's one thing.
yeah.
So the court was canceled today and everything because it was a
I
whole.
really, I haven't been paying attention since it went over Jamaica because I have some friends that live in Jamaica. But I guess has it hit Texas? Has it?
I don't
I,
know. So when we first moved here, We got here in June, and Dorian happened in August. And Dorian, for those of you who don't remember, it was a 5. It was a Cat 5 because we had decided if it's a 1 or 2, we're just going to stay home, which people think is nuts. But when
Oh,
you live in
okay. My
Florida,
dad cell service.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so, but it was a 5 and it was headed our way, but it was super slow. It was like a mile an hour. I mean, that it was moving. It was crazy. And so I ended up in the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack, but it probably was just anxiety because I was so terrified. Oh, Stevens was live today. Okay, so his section of Texas is fine. Texas is so
Mhm.
big. It's like all of Europe. So,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
goodness. But yeah, I ended up, it was supposed to staff are safe. Oh, good. Oh, some without power, but at least they're okay. That's good.
yeah,
Thanks, Paige, for the update. That's really cool. Here, I'm going to put that up there so everybody knows. But so after that, I said, okay, I'm okay with the hurricanes. I just don't want to hear about it or do any of the prep, which kind of stinks for Dave because he has to do all the prep. But he does, and then I just pretend like they're not coming, and go about my business. And
Plan your hurricane.
we took one hurricane. We did that. I don't know. I don't know even know what it was. I want to say Irma, but that might I mean no, that was before we got here. Anyway, we went to Gainesville. It was fun. Turns out everything was fine. But we didn't know until the very last minute, and you don't want to with kids. I feel like we would stay on the island, not really for a 5, but probably up to a 5, but then if we did something like that and something happened to the kids, that wouldn't be good. So we have to.
Yeah, if they were close, if they were evacuating us, I mean, truly saying you need to go or else, because if you get stuck, you're in the island, so you're
Yeah.
really stuck there. So if it would be really difficult for people to get to you if you ended up in any kind of trouble or something. That's really the reason we would leave
Oh, that
because,
was Dorian.
I mean, what can you do? You can't like hold your house up
Right?
single
Yeah.
handedly from the wind or whatever. But you do kind of want to be with your stuff and all of that. I understand, and especially if you have a business or uh,
Oh my
what
gosh,
have you.
Paige. A couple of years ago there was a hurricane, and I was leading a class because I'm in part of this writing group, and I was leading it. And so I just led it in the middle of the hurricane. Everyone's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "It's just a Cat 1." I mean, a Cat 1 is like 70 miles an hour. I know, Spade. I wish there was more folks here too, but you know what? That's okay. So just for those of you who are here, this is what's happening. This is a little bit chaotic because and quiet. Jen Hardy had all the things happening, and we didn't ever anticipate that this was going to be a thing. I didn't think that Shower Thoughts were going to get a 500,000 views in 3 months, but they did. And then Judge Boyd hit, and then that was a thing. I now see. I asked Dave to link it on Discord, Mr. Hardy, and especially with Colin not going live. But anyway, not in the right place, darling. That's okay. Well, we're learning. We're learning, Spade. By the next couple of weeks, we'll have this all rocking. Anyway, so I did my shower thoughts, and then I thought, well, I'll just have my podcasts up there because that's what everyone tells us to do is put them on YouTube. And I put the Judge Boyd interview as part of Fabulous Over 50, and then all my court friends came over and said, "Ooh, this is exciting," and then it got crazy. But it doesn't really make sense to have shower thoughts. I already took Fabulous Over 50 off because that was too many things, but it's too confusing for A, the people, and B, the algorithm to figure out what's happening because the channel is growing like crazy, but not, it's confused. And so I just moved, I made private all the court videos except my one Judge Boyd one because everyone loves her. You don't have to be into court. She's amazing. And just as of today, I really officially opened the other channel and it has like 3 subscribers. Dave, you could put a link to that one, but you probably don't even know what it is. I'll put a link to that one. And that's where the court things are going to go. And you put in the general chat. Okay. Yeah. But we'll put a link to the other one. So now we're going to have Mondays are going to be live here. And this is going to be like, my podcasting friends like Paige and shower thoughts things. I don't know, thinky things. And I don't know, people-y things. And then Thursday nights are still going to be live court things, but they're going to be over there on Voices of Justice. So that's what that is. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's good. That's good. That
I think it's going
you
to be
can,
better.
yeah, you can really confuse people otherwise.
Yeah. And, yeah.
We don't want you confused.
We don't want to. Although
No.
YouTube is very happy about what I've done here on this channel, because now I thought we'd have a dip taking all those videos down, but we didn't. It's actually gone up, so that's good.
Really?
But the
Wow.
other channel is very sad with its 3 subscribers.
Wow.
So,
All right. Well, everybody who's watching this, get
yeah,
over
jump over
there,
there and, so, and
like,
also,
subscribe, all that good stuff.
right, I know. Well, and it's funny because you hear creators saying that all the time and you don't realize that is really what gets more people to watch. It really does.
It does. It
And
does.
even if people don't like it, you can dislike it. It doesn't matter. The algorithm doesn't care. If you like it or dislike it, they just want you to click a button. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. That's the one thing about YouTube that I do like is that it is a little more interactive in a way, and that it does really, if you watch something for a certain amount of time, if you subscribe, YouTube goes, oh, you like this, then here's something else you might want to watch, and that's good. Sometimes if you watch something you're not really interested in too long, and then all of a sudden YouTube thinks you like that, and then you're thinking, okay, great, I got to see this person umpteen times. And I guess there's a way of just telling them,
Yeah,
stop
you just don't
that.
click on it. Well, it was
Yeah,
funny. I reached out to a judge to ask him to be on the show, and he did not want to. Judge Middleton, for those of you who know Judge Middleton, and he said, "I don't want to be YouTube famous. This is not going to help me pull myself away." But he was so respectful, and so it made me respect him so much more. But he left me a message on my phone. It was really long and kind, and at the end, he said, "Oh, darn it! Now the algorithm thinks I like your shower thoughts." So his feed is full of me
I
now.
like your shower thoughts. I mean,
Well, I don't think he wants 4 of them a day,
yeah,
but it was really
yeah,
funny because I guess he kept scrolling and I just kept coming up, and but it just goes to prove your point. So
yeah, yeah. Well, uh, that that kind of reminds me. This is not beach related,
that's
but
okay.
I I wouldn't say that I'm a true crime devotee, but there's just been a few storylines that I was really involved in. Uh, I like listening to culty stuff. So I got deep down into the mire of Mormon things,
Yes,
and
the
then
FLBS stuff.
yeah, well that. So I watch all of these YouTubers that, but there was one who was reporting on the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell case, and there she was going to the courthouse and reporting from there, and it was so interesting because the judge that oversaw Lori Vallow's trial was also the judge for Chad Daybell, and if anybody is familiar with this, but they're kind of went off the rails with their feelings that the end times were coming, but that they were the chosen, and that their children had turned into zombies, so they needed to unalive them
Oh
and
wow,
bury them in his backyard. But the
wow.
judge was magnificent. I mean, if anybody, if he were willing to talk, I mean, what a score that I cannot remember his name offline. Maybe I could give you, but
Yeah,
he was so compassionate and so to the for the jurors. The jurors said, I mean, he was really, really good. And he had to listen to all this horrific stuff twice through her trial and this guy's trial.
wow.
And he maintained his composure because everybody else was just falling apart. And he probably would, not want to do it either because he just seems like such a, I don't know, compassionate, compassionate
See,
person.
and I love that when you talk to the judges that are like that and they're compassionate and caring, and that's why Judge Boyd
Yeah.
that got almost 100,000 views on this channel so far. And I've redone the interview and I've made it better and it's going on the new one. But it just, she genuinely cares. And a lot of the judges that everybody likes to watch are like that too. And, I don't know, when I
Yeah.
was young and stupid and getting traffic tickets and going to court way too often, I just thought that they just really enjoyed putting people in jail and getting them in trouble. And that's really not their job. Their job is to just keep us all safe and try to rehab people, which I don't know. I just had never really considered until I started watching
Yeah.
these things, and it's been
Yeah.
really eye opening. And there's a judge, Judge Stevens, who comes live sometimes. He's going to come live again, and he seems so strict and like he doesn't care at all, but he really, really is passionate about people. And so it's been really nice to interview him and bring him on here and let other people see, oh my gosh, he's totally different. And the reason he does things, once you understand him, makes so much more sense.
Kind of like tough love
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
thing.
He's kind of like a dad. Like people call him the dad judge. He actually
Okay.
puts
Yeah.
people in timeout. If you are
Oh,
being
yeah.
nasty and disrespectful, he puts you in timeout. And if you don't listen in the box, he'll put you in a jail cell for like an hour and make them
Okay.
like. And his thing was, which blew my mind. I didn't even think about it. He said, "Yeah, I make them see it and smell it because apparently it has some odors." Oh my gosh! So
Hmm.
yeah, so that's a whole thing. But it's really neat to be able to get to know them and everything. Hey, American courts. So we got everybody's here. Yeah, Judge, it's going to be really fun.
He keeps
Yeah.
saying, "Are you a
Oh,
Jags fan?"
Dave wants. Yeah, are you a Jags
Oh,
fan?
am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be to live here in Jacksonville. It's difficult. They do really well, and then not so. But you got to root for the home team. I am originally a Steelers fan because I grew up in Central Pennsylvania, so I kind of had to, I don't know, give up that for a while. Oh, he's Titans fan.
We're
Okay.
definitely Titans fans. Could be because they have the best uniforms, I don't know. But
Well, great colors, yeah. Well, the
yeah, I
Jags,
lived in
yeah.
Pennsylvania for a little while, just 1 year, but I did not like it. It was not my favorite. But I lived in York, Pennsylvania, which is,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, see that face. Everybody from Pennsylvania is like, oh no, that's not Pennsylvania. It's just a little part of hell, really, honestly. People
Yeah.
were mean. So because we
Really?
LA, so in LA, when you run into people, you ignore them. That's just what you do. You just pretend like they're not there. You go about your business. So if I'm at the grocery store, I see a Paige, we pretend like we don't know each other because we're in a hurry. We do our thing. It's just
All
how it
right.
goes. And it's not rude. It's just whatever. Then we moved to Tennessee, and everyone's waving from their front porch and saying hello and
Oh,
doing all
yeah.
these things. And I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
oh, people could live like this. And so we lived there for a couple of years, and then we moved to Pennsylvania. Now I could have done Pennsylvania from California. But in Pennsylvania, I had 4 kids at the time, right? 4 young kids everywhere I go. We walked up to the mall, someone sees us coming, they shut the door in our face so that we can't get in. You're at the grocery store, they see you heading for like the cheese, they will cut you off with their cart. So mean. But apparently that was just the York people. Apparently that's not Pennsylvania in general.
No, that is not. Well,
So,
I grew up in a very small town, so I guess maybe that has something to do with it. And it was nice because everybody, your families knew what you were doing. If your parents didn't know what you were doing, your friends' parents knew what you were doing. I mean, it was really hard to get in super big trouble because, it was just a small town and everybody kind of looked after one another. And there wasn't a whole lot of crime back then. I mean, I hate to, wax nostalgic about it. It was way better back in the day. But, in some respects, it was a nice town to grow up in. And I don't think, well, you didn't have a mall, so you wouldn't get the door closed on you. But I'd like to think that we were friendly.
yeah.
I don't know. But
Our neighborhood is like that. It's like Wonder Years. It's so nice.
yeah, now tell me what it's like to live in a neighborhood on the beach.
It is 10 kinds of incredible. So our neighborhood has its own beach. So we're 3 blocks, but we can hear it at night. We can't hear it
Yeah.
during the day. But if you sit in our backyard at night, we can do it. And so we go around the corner and we walk the 3 blocks, and there's our little beach access. I mean, we don't have a lifeguard or anything because it's a
Mm-mm.
private beach or whatever. And then it's all flat here, and we have sidewalks, which not everybody has. So our kids can just go, because in Nashville, we were in Middle Tennessee, and so it was very hilly. And so we're learning how to ride a bike. It was very hard. So they were a little bit older when they learned, but we came here, and our street is one big circle. And so they can it's really nice. We can just ride around, and, things like Halloween or whatever, it's this big thing. Yeah. Small town USA. That is absolutely where we live. And we have a thing for our street. There's a street party once a year because it's a big circle. and they close off the things and they get bounce houses and all these different things. Like it's like literally like the Wonder Years, like the parties that they would have when they block off the street. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. We have a nice neighborhood. The thing about Jacksonville Beach is that it has its little touristy parts. I mean,
Yeah.
there are hotels and all of that. Not a whole lot, so it's not really that bad. It's more neighborhood-y, and in fact, uh, my bonus daughter, Ernie's daughter, one lived literally around the corner on the
That's nice.
next block, and we get to spend time with them and the grandkids and all of that. And it's we were just over at they built a pool in their backyard, so we went over there for just to hang out at the pool for a while and hang with the kids. And it's super nice that we're here. That's another benefit of living here at the beach and having the kids right around the corner. It's family. It's it's nice. I love
Dave, are you
that.
trying to say no OSC? I think he's trying to say no other side of the causeway. So we call our bridges causeways. I don't know why. And it's a mile-long bridge to get to the mainland. And so it's this running joke. And Dad, I even have a shirt that says, "Please don't make me cross the causeway," because we just
Yeah,
need to go
we
on.
call it over the ditch.
Yeah.
If you live on the other side, on the land side of the of the causeway, you're on
Yeah.
the other side of the ditch.
But it's funny because my older kids did not want to even come see us in Florida. They hate Florida. And then they get over here and they go, "This doesn't feel like Florida at all."
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you feel like you live in a bubble? Because
Oh
I
yeah.
kind of feel like, yeah, that whatever is going on in the outside world,
It's not here.
it's not here.
In fact,
Or
when
at
there
least
was
I don't notice it. We just seem, I don't know.
yeah, no, it's when the horrible thing that we can't say on YouTube happened 4 years ago. We got to pretend like it wasn't a thing because A, we're in Florida and B, we're on an island, and so my son had really bad anxiety. So we're like, guess what? That particular thing doesn't exist anymore, and we got to pretend like it didn't and just live our lives. It was very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one thing that really kind of I couldn't understand, but it wasn't very long. They closed our beach,
Oh yeah, they closed ours for like a week.
and everybody was looking like, well, what?
Well, they didn't close our beach. They just wouldn't let anyone park at any beaches, but our beach has no parking because you walk there. And
Oh,
so
well,
our
we
free
weren't
parking,
allowed on, you weren't allowed
really?
on the beach. They had patrols there. I would walk to the
Oh,
very end of the walkway, the access, and I would sit and take my pictures of the sunrise and stuff. I would get out as just as far as I could, like dip my toe there, and then if a police vehicle would go by, I'd run back, would play that little game. It was maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks that they had it closed, and then people saw better of it, and that we needed we that beach is so healing.
it
You
is.
need that, all
It
that
is.
anxiety you have, and uh, just you just step out onto, I don't know about you, but for me, I just run to the beach, or I just step out there on the sand, watch the waves, even during a storm or whatever. It just is
Yeah,
so healing.
it really is. Yeah, my son had a rash when we were in Tennessee. He had it for a couple of years. Nobody can get rid of it. The doctors are like, well, he's just going to live with it. And it's awful. And we came out here to look at houses. And when we went home, it was gone. And I thought, I wonder if that was the ocean. And a couple months later, we moved, and it came back a month later
Mhm.
in Nashville. And we come back out here, and it's gone now.
It's gone.
It's gone. And then what the
Oh,
first winter, we weren't in the beach a lot, and it came back. Yeah. So he has to be there. You can't. Yeah. I think
yeah,
there's so much to be said for saltwater. And
yeah.
if you're not by a beach, you got to just come visit us. That's all.
That's
Because
right. That's right. I like to say with my podcast that if you can't get to the beach, I'll bring the beach to you. So I try to incorporate as much of the beach, beach sounds or what have you. Just try to, yeah, bring a little beach into everybody's life. I know that the beach is not for everybody, although I don't understand why, but there are some people that just really don't like the beach. And some people it's just the sand. They just don't want the sand or this whatever it is. And some people are mountain people, which is great. Love the mountains. Love to hike there. But
Yeah, we
I
had a
don't know.
cabin in the mountains because, in LA, you got the beach and the mountains. My dad was not
Yeah.
a beach guy. He was very white and he could not beach, but he
Yeah, I
loved
could
the
see
mountains.
that.
I'm not a cold person at all. So it was not my favorite. And also, that was our time to, like, I don't know, Grizzly Adams was popular back then. And so our cabin was like TV free. We had a radio that got like one station, and that's all the electronics we had.
Oh my.
And so I would bring up one of those handheld record players, bring my record, because like that was the only thing that was allowed. It was the worst because it was my parents and me and my brother who was 12 years younger than me. So when I was a high schooler, he was a preschooler.
Oh, what do you
So
do
like
with
even
that? I
my
mean, you
friends
play with
didn't
the
like it.
toddler.
No, because they're like, this is horrible. Like
Oh,
it was not fun. So yeah, no, I much prefer this. This is much better. And it's not
yeah.
cold. But if you like, I mean, there's all kinds of people.
I
So
was just talking to, well, I'm dropping an episode on Wednesday with a woman who wrote a book about, uh, it's a novel uh, about Bonaire down here. I'm sure one of the islands where she would scuba dive and all of that. But we got on the topic of she lives in New Hampshire. And when it starts getting cold and the snow is just a little too much, they head south and they just make their way down to the Carolinas and then they end up here in Florida. She's like, I got to get to Florida. I got to get to the beach. I have enough of this cold. Enough of so I guess technically you call them snowbirds somewhat. They come with
we
a tiny RV van thing. And she was telling me that they go to St. Augustine and there's this tiny RV park that she said isn't much to look at, but you can back your RV up close to the dunes and you're like right there.
yeah.
I thought, that's fabulous. I don't even know where that is. I've got to find it. St. Augustine isn't very far
No,
from
it's
where
and
we
it's
are. Have you been?
I've not been yet.
Oh, and the kids would really be interested in it too. If you like history, it's the oldest city in the U.S.
Yeah.
Uh, who
Yeah,
knew?
we finally made it to the Keys. We had
Yeah.
my kids were reading books from an author, Jennifer L. Holm. We love her books. Oh my gosh. And she wrote about the Keys because her family's from the Keys. And the United States actually almost shut them down during the Depression because it was so disgusting down there. And so these books tell the historical story of the Keys through this little boy's eyes, and it's really cool. And
Wow.
so
Love to
we were
read that.
it's called Beans and Full of Beans. They're awesome. And so we were going down there. And so I reached out to her on LinkedIn and I said, hey, we love your books, from one author to the other. Can you tell me where to go? And I thought, she's not going to answer me. And she did. On our way down there, I get this message and she says, go here and here and here. It was a half mile from where we were staying. And so it was beautiful because all these roads, she put the actual roads and the places in the books, and we were on those roads and in those places. And I said,
Oh,
hey, can you
wow.
recommend a place? And it was one of her family's Cuban restaurants. We got to go get Cuban coffee there, and it was just so much fun.
Were
And
you in Key West or were
we were in Key
you
West, yeah.
Key West? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the Keys are magnificent. I like Marathon for the Dolphin Research Center. That was one of my favorite places to go.
Yeah, we've never, I'll be honest. We went, we saw, we're happier here. We actually, when we vacation, we stay at the Hilton in our own town.
There you go.
We love it so much that
Well,
it's just,
yeah, I mean, I know the feeling. We travel to Tampa quite often to visit with friends. One of our friends has a beautiful farm. She's got all kinds of animals, and it's a lot of fun and all of that. There are just some times when I say, hey, let's maybe not go and do that thing. I'd like to stay. I mean, I want to live at the beach, so I
yeah. So,
I live, or we travel somewhere. But we do travel around the state quite a bit for my husband's job, and whenever it's anywhere near a beach, you know, I'm there. He can go to the conference or whatever, just drive me, plop me down on the sand, and then come back and get me later.
that's so much fun when you can travel together, That's a
Yeah,
really
I'm really grateful that you can take this podcast with you wherever. Everything I do is virtual. So, yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
it's
it's
all good.
interesting, isn't it? And you meet so many people from around the country and around the world doing all these things, and it is really exciting.
Florida, really. I mean, I know it gets a bad. There's wacky things going on everywhere, and we have our things, but really, it is such a lovely place. And if you haven't been there, yeah, there's the beach and there's the attractions. There's Orlando and all that, but we have the most magnificent parks and like state parks and springs. Have you been to the springs yet?
I haven't
Any?
been to the Springs yet either. No, I
Oh my
really
gosh.
want to go to the
The
Springs. I've
kids,
heard that
yeah.
they're
Yeah. If you go to Three Sisters Springs, you'll see all the manatees.
well, we swim
Although,
with manatees here. We've
well,
got
yeah, yeah. There
oh,
is a whole collection of them at Three Sisters.
oh, that's fun.
However, because one of the hurricanes that blew through kind of decimated where they would eat, the seagrass was non-existent in some places, so they ended up swimming out earlier into the ocean so they could find food. So when we got there to see them, most of them were gone. But that being said, I mean the springs are this crystal clear water, and it's just the color, and then you've got these trees, the canopy of trees as you're paddling through, and it's just spectacular. There's just so many cool things to do in Florida and see.
There really are. And so
Yeah,
and I have to say, okay, so there's two things that I have to do. I'm actually going to okay, I'm trying to gonna try to click it is making a sound. Okay. I'm gonna put the link for something. So you guys, if you want to laugh at Florida, there is this thing. I'm gonna put it here. Don't watch it now though. Wait till we're done. It's called Alligator Boys. This comedian Shane Smith, he is my favorite. He is tattooed all over, face, neck, everything. He tries to educate people about how bad that is to do. Don't do it to yourself. Um, but it's a skit about Florida and an actual thing that happened in Florida. But the reason that Florida gets such a bad rap is because the whole Florida man and how you can put, Florida man and your date of birth. But for those of you listening, the reason that's a thing, it's not because Florida has more crime. Although we have a lot of craziness. I'll give you that. We got gators, we got hurricanes, whatever. But because we have an open policy with everything. So if you write an email to the government, it's public knowledge. Everyone has your email address and your phone number. It's kind of crazy. I don't really understand it. But anyone who gets arrested is also public knowledge, and put it in the paper and they put it online. And so everyone who's ever been arrested, it's all public knowledge. And so that's why everyone knows everything about the criminals here. It's not that there's more, it's just that they're public. So
yeah.
it's my it's my thing. I always try to
Well,
explain that to people. Although
we
there
live in a
are
bubble, so
right. Well, I'll tell you what. One sad thing that we have here that's been really rough, and is that we have a large homeless population, which
Mhm.
do as you will, except that the crime rate because of that is super high, and lots of camps everywhere, which I think is
Yeah,
a sign of the times. And because you aren't going to freeze here on the beach. But although it's weird in Florida, if it's going to get to like 60 degrees, they open places so people don't get cold because but a lot of that.
yeah.
And so
We've
there's
had that
something about
problem on the beach. We have people that pitch a tent and try to stay overnight there, and
yeah.
they
One of my friends was walking.
move them on.
She passed by. It was not too early in the morning, they said either, and three encampments on the beach, which is kind of
Yeah,
rough.
yeah. I mean, I can't blame someone who is homeless, indigenous, whatever they indigent,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I
whatever.
know what word you're going for, but I can't. Yeah, yeah.
That if you were going to make camp somewhere, that yeah, I would probably do it at the beach too. However, typically it's just not it's not clean. It's really they're in the dunes, which they shouldn't be. Nobody should be in the dunes doing anything. Uh, that's reserved strictly for the sea turtles, the seagrass.
Yeah, and then the kids want to go running, because there's like these grassy, like with like tree areas, which I think
Yeah,
for snake reasons anyway they shouldn't be in there. But I'm like,
yeah,
you go there because you don't know who's in there. But yeah, but that's I would if I had to live somewhere for free, I would definitely live at the beach. So
Yeah, yeah. We're not with our problems anywhere. It just seems wherever you go, there you are. And I think, I think I can get overwhelmed with all the things. I mean, there's so much to be concerned about. The environment, you were talking about global warming, and that definitely affects our environment here at the beach and in Florida. But yeah, there's so many things. I get overwhelmed, and I think, you know what? I got to just bring it home. And what can I do in my little area here and take care of my people and my neighborhood? And, not that I don't care about, all the thing that's going on globally and all of that, that's important. Um, Otherwise, I'll go nuts.
plus, I feel like if everybody did that in their own backyard, we wouldn't have so many global problems. So, you know,
Well, yeah,
we're at the
it'd
start.
be a little less, it will be a nicer place. We just, be kind and take care of each other here.
Yeah. Well, I know everyone in our chat is definitely like that. We've got some great people out here. And Jay, you were
Yeah.
you were in Tampa Bay area. That's so interesting. We've got a lot of friends. There's a lot of podcasters in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, there are.
There's
Yeah.
West Coast is,
I
and
love Tampa. I love it. I mean, of course,
yeah.
you go on to St. Pete. I'll go there all the time. Love it.
See, I've only been there to take my kid to the hospital, so
Oh
I need to
no,
go
you
there
were in
for fun.
Plant? No,
So, Hopkins has their
Hopkins. Okay.
children's hospital there,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, but so I need to go there for fun.
Yeah,
I've
you
heard that
do.
it's beautiful, but we did not see a beautiful part.
No. Yeah, Tampa is a cool city though, really. And of course they have the bay and all that water activity and stuff. So it's not like you're landlocked like Orlando.
Yeah, yeah. I can't imagine being in the center of Florida because
Yeah,
it's just
14
awesome.
years. I lived 14 years in Orlando, and it was fun for a while. You can only do Disney so much, and
Yeah,
then that becomes a bit of a chore, and just then more and more people are coming, and I mean there are bad drivers everywhere, but it just seems like it's really bad in that area because all these people from out of the country renting cars and trying to
yeah.
figure out how to drive, and yeah, it's just after a while I had to leave. It was not the beach. Get me
It's not
to
the
the beach.
there you go. So Jay, are you in Florida still, or are you somewhere else? You don't have to say where you are. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where everybody is, but yeah,
I'm kind of looking at the chat, but I guess you've got
I'm just gonna.
two going on here.
That's funny. And what's really funny is that people that are on the mainland think that we're really snobby because we're like that. It's not that we're snobby though. It's not that we think we're better. It's just that we just really like the beach. That's all it is. And the people that don't really like the beach, that's fine. But we really just don't want to have to go over that bridge. I don't know. It's 1 mile. But also, everything that comes on our side of the bridge that has to travel that 1 mile, everything is, oh, that's much different than being in Tampa. Goodness gracious. There's a 10% surcharge on everything that crosses that causeway. And when people find out that we live on the island, they double like all the service fees and like for
Oh wow, I didn't know
because
that.
we have people that help us with like the pool and the house and stuff, and it's crazy. So
Wow. Well, it's not like that here. It's just that I have everything I need in a 3 mile radius of my home. I mean, honestly, I don't really need my car. If I had to, I just ride my bike to the grocery store and all of that. We have e-bikes now too, so you go a little further.
there you
And
go.
yeah, so I just think, why do I need to go over the ditch? And I don't know. Everything is here.
Exactly everything you need, and and then there's Amazon. So.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's
true.
nice, Jay. At least it was warm. We are going up north to Wisconsin in
Oh,
November for a wedding
oh,
because my son lives there because his future wife got a full ride to law school. So. That's pretty cool. And so she's about to graduate, and they're going to get married in November. And we're going to have to find some warm clothes. I got them all up in the attic still. Oh my gosh, I had an extensive boot collection, and I don't think
Got
they're
rid
going
of
to
that.
anymore because I don't wear them here in Florida. I traded them
Yeah.
in my flip-flop collection.
There you go. Your shower thoughts flip
My
flops.
shower. Oh, I know. They're coming. They're coming on Friday. I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, there's going to be a big unboxing. But it is 9:59, so we're about to go. You guys are
Oh
amazing. Thank
wow,
you for staying with
this went really
me.
quick.
I did right. It did. It went
Just
really
talking
fast.
about random beach stuff. I mean,
I know.
I don't
Well,
know if
you
it's
can give me a
any
topic.
interesting to anybody else, but
And you guys, you got to click on that thing and watch the Alligator Boys. I'm telling you, it's about a guy that robbed a Wendy's with an alligator. That's all
oh,
I'm going to say
okay.
about that. It's his, and he's so funny. Once you start watching him, like Shane Smith, he's amazing. I wanted him to come stay here when he came to Florida. That's how much I just love him. And Dave's like, no, Shane's not coming to stay with us.
No.
Because I do have a bad habit of having everyone come to stay with us, and then they don't want to
Oh,
leave, and that's a whole.
well, I can see that. Yeah.
So that's been a situation. But no, Jay, you can't give up flip flops. You can't. I mean, obviously, up there in the winter, but yeah, they're a thing. Well, thank you, Paige. I'm gonna play you guys out with some beachy sounds and me in the water. Well, not me in the water, but yeah, the water where I was this morning. And thank you again, Paige, for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around and talking beachy things. And we love you guys. You should come visit. Don't tell Dave I said that. He's right here. I'm just kidding. Jay said it was nice meeting you, Paige. Yeah.
Oh, good meeting you too. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and people who are watching the replay. If you are, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Mwah. I love
Bye.
you all. Can't see my toes. Woo. The water is so refreshing. It's a little cool, but it's definitely cold. Living on the island, we get a nice breeze. So while the rest of Florida is 98 or 99, we're 88 or 89. And then we have this.